Hello everybody and welcome to our second game, King of the Hill Season 3, Episode 5. And after we had a bit of a shake-up to today's events, having two new challengers contest for King, one player emerged victorious. That was Kimbo God. You see him now here playing as the UKF, or British faction, on the south side of Arnhem Checkpoint. His opponent today is going to be Sidolio, playing as the austere and immediately locking in the Ostrupen doctrine. Sidolio, I think this is his first performance in King of the Hill this season, so it'll be interesting to see how he's picked up within the last year that we've seen him. A bit of a talk about the Ostrupen choice here. So Ostrupen are great against Brits because Brits love to hug cover positions, and Brits can be very damaging. They're very sturdy squads, can pretty much last through a pretty huge amount of firepower, to be honest. What Ostrupen do is they tend to make these really long drawn out engagements where the British units can't advance. If they do lose models, they're able to reinforce at a very low cost, reinforce quickly, get back on the field. So it's all about keeping that British front line in the back lines of British territory. And we'll see how that plays out. This is very nice early suppression there. Kimbo, very unlucky to get suppressed. He was trying to get round the side of this building where there are no windows, and he can fire in without being targeted by the MG. Thanks to a very, very lucky suppression there. Actually, Kimbo was not able to accomplish that. Here we see a bit more bad luck on Kimbo's side as he's unable to get into the church before the MG. But Sidolio, I think, has this nailed down. He's not going to move that MG, doesn't need to. Just going to focus on letting the Pioneers do damage to the Tommy squad. And this is good play, I really like this. More Ostrupen called in. That's 4 squads of Ostrupen now, and Sidolio is going to be able to cap, well, assuming he can get his models in the cap zone, he'll be able to cap territory, deny resources in the early game. And what I really wonder is if we'll see Sidolio skip tier 1 altogether, go for the early battle phase 1 upgrade, and focus on those tier 2 units. We might see him do that now. We may see him make that decision. Tier 2 rush can be lethal for the Brits. An austere tier 2 rush with the scout car, perhaps using the infantry half track with a flamethrower upgrade. Can be very, very difficult for Brits to deal with. We haven't seen that yet though. But really worth pointing out just how much map control Sidolio has. And ignoring the big resource points, just having all these strategic points, like not having the high resource points like the fuel and munitions, the strategic points actually add up to a lot of income per minute. So having more of those probably is going to benefit him more than just hitting the high resource points at the start. But this is, quite frankly, an embarrassing start for Kimbo. Sidolio is actually skipping the first tier. He's going for battle phase 1. Tier 2 should come out, and then we're going to expect to see these resources get spent in those tier 2 units. So it's a really nice strategy to play against Brits.
Our headquarters has been improved. We can now build light mechanized infantry.
The one thing I think that we missed though is, of course, without tier 1, there's no snaring capability, so the Ostrupen aren't able to utilize Faust unless that tier 1 is built. So we probably see Sidolio back tech at some point. Line of sight on that, and they just got caught on the edge of that arc from the MG. Kimbo's just struggling to find the right route for this. Sidolio is bringing out the infantry half track. As soon as that hits the field, that's going to be upgraded with the Flammenwerfer. And the question right now is, what kind of AT can Kimbo bring out onto the field? He already locked in Royal Engineer Regiment. He hasn't got that many munitions coming in, so he's not going to be able to get upgrades. He's not going to be able to get anti-tank anything.
Officers are now available for transfer.
And of course, being vastly outnumbered on the field, Sidolio has just managed to managing to manage the garrison so that he always has control.
We are losing a sector.
And here it is. Sidolio is just waiting at the back there, wants to get that shock factor on, and if he actually drives up
our lines of supply are disrupted
and gets the pop on the flame projectors, then he'll be able to surprise all these Tommy squads and hopefully get that all-important squad wipe. Here they go right now. This is a serious danger sign from Kimbo. He's going to be investing in an AT gun. And this is such a great showing from Sidolio. Actually, it's so nice to see someone open like this. In King of the Hill, the king gets to pick their faction first. Sidolio has counter-picked. This is the advantage that the challenger has, and he is able to bring out a strategy that he knows is going to hard counter Kimbo, and it's being played to perfection. I think this build was originally popularized by Helping Hands. I think that
attempting to steal our sector.
I think that he originally came up with this build, or was using this build at least as his main austere build.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
What Kimbo's aiming to achieve there, but is getting some vision for the AT gun to land a shot. Not really sure that that is enough. And now the position of the AT gun has been located. Sidolio is just so confident to go and knock these. Did not expect that. Did not expect that. He wasn't able to stop the AT gun from moving up enough. Sidolio, I think, had the same confidence that I had when making that comment. But just goes to show you can't be too cocky against Kimbo. Always take some time to listen into the British voice acting. They've got plenty of interesting things to say. Well, 300 VPs left on the table for Kimbo. And the question is now he needs to start bringing in resources. He's at a disadvantage at the moment. What can he do to make use of this? It might be now that he does have to hold out for a late game AVRE. But I'm not sure how much of a good decision that would be. And Kimbo hasn't actually had any access to fuel still. Sidolio is still rightfully keeping that pressure up. He's doing a really good job here to make sure that he always applies pressure to the strategic point. So instead of actually focusing on the resources themselves, he's happy to just cut them. Kimbo here being forced to go for VP on the left. And that's really just to keep him in this game. I think that gives a little bit of an idea of the pressure that Kimbo's under at the moment. Been a really bad start to the game for him. And there you see Kimbo, he's trying to get the sandbags. Actually manages to change the retreat path of an Ostrupen squad and get the squad pipe. So very cheeky there from Kimbo.
Point is being overrun.
It did work.
Our supply line's broken.
And this from Sidolio. Does he have enough to get a squad wipe in return? Quick look at the game so far. Surprisingly, Ostrupen add absolutely nothing to this graph, so while Sidolio may have all the map control, all the resources, might be easily tipped by a few units that Kimbo could potentially bring out. Hopefully though, Sidolio's been making use of his advantage in fuel, and you see here he's teched up to Battle Phase 2, building his Tier 3 at the moment.
Sector.
And this is where we need to see something special from Kimbo.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Minefield here, actually, by Sidolio. Kimbo didn't notice that, and he does run his Tommies north. May risk losing the squad. Ostrupen got to stand still to try and get that extra accuracy, crossing the negative cover road. Is it enough? I think one more shot would have done it. But here's the danger, actually. Kimbo is starting to get map control back. He's playing well. He's got the garrison clearance by flamethrowers on the Royal Engineers, and there's the walkthrough. We thought that Kimbo might do that, and he hits the retreat button. Will he hit a last mine? Yes, he does. There's the squad wipe.
The enemy have wiped out an infantry section.
Great minefield by Sidolio.
An engineer unit is ready for action.
Kimbo here is just trying to be as threatening as possible. Sidolio just getting 3 pioneers on the field at the moment. He's been doing some minesweeping, which is sensible of him to do, just to make sure Kimbo's not laying any defences. When Sidolio gets his Panzer IV out, which is in the build currently, he wants to know that he can throw it around all these Tommies and not be contested too much. Not sure what Sidolio is trying to do here, but it's going to result in a very, very late retreat with a very low health squad. Fortunately, suppression from the MG42 may just save it, but one of the Tommies picks up the model. That was a flamethrower as well. Big losses for Sidolio, who is rapidly losing control of this game. And again, you know, as the Tommies have started to get to that 5th man, as they've started getting that map control, there's this ghosting. There's the sandbagging we were talking about. One of them actually breaks. Kimbo's going to be disappointed there. He accidentally let one of the squads get away. And Sidolio still needs to be careful here, because even with that dominant vehicle on the field, he needs to be careful that he doesn't snare or get snared by any mines, by any engineers.
The enemy cut our supply line.
Needs to make sure that this unit keeps him with frontline presence, and this is a good response from Sid.
Ready to do some damage. Enemy threatening a capture point.
Orders is here.
Again, when you look at Arnhem checkpoint, just beautiful, beautiful map. So well designed. Sid just needs to be so careful. I've seen a lot of late retreats with these pioneers. course, all that really needs to happen is these Ostrouper need to be getting vision for the Panzer IV to do work against the infantry squads. Panzer IV really is the key here. Just trying to get around the sight from the AT gun. Kimbo's mission, of course, is to get that AT gun into a position where it can effectively engage, keep the Panzer IV off of these frontline engagements, letting the Tommy squads go in. Here's that retreat path cut-off that we're seeing from Kimbo constantly. He's going to get as many Tommies as he can, waiting for that Ostrouper squad. Sidolio, I think, has perhaps seen it in time. Kimbo maybe blocking himself a little with line of sight there. But hopefully Sidolio just spotted that both AT guns were on the left-hand side, so he can use his Panzer IV effectively.
They're trying to take it.
Have a quick look at the graphs again. Still nothing has changed massively. But Sidolio does not enjoy that lead he had anymore. He has to make use of the Panzer IV. It's really what his entire strategy had been building up to. This window of play where he has such a big advantage. Where's the rest of this Ostrouper squad trying to get in the building? Can't get in because five of the members were lagging behind a little bit. Panzer Grenadiers have been out in the field now for Sidolio.
Flame mortars can be called to attack enemy structures.
Really nice from Sidolio. Really nice play. You can see him there. He's just managed to find these AT guns. He's going to push them away. Try and get this Tommy squad on the retreat, which the Flames should be able to do that. They should be able to get that last burst off. Very, very lucky that Kimbo gets away with that. Panzer IV is just not seeing enough action at the moment. Here's a good opportunity to do some damage. Kimbo's sensible to make that retreat. And here's the return grenade from Sidolio, trying to use Kimbo's own tricks against him. Beautiful to see Sidolio trying it out.
Attempting to steal our sector. The sector has been
Good
cut
sweeping
off.
from Kimbo. Kimbo, of course, already losing that one Tommy squad to the minefield that was on the east side fuel, of course. He's gone for minesweepers, and already those minesweepers have effectively saved the squad from capping on the right VP. Kimbo's going to go for the VP drain on Sidolio. He's going to take 3 VPs and try and bring things back to an even footing. Sidolio's had a great VP game so far, still hanging around 500, whilst Kimbo's been taken down 300 VPs in the first 15 minutes of this game. You have here the supply drop. And supply drop is lovely with the Ostrouper because it's just going to allow more support weapons to come in. Give the Ostrouper more use on the field.
Mission complete. We have the sector.
The enemy is taking our territory. Our opponents are seizing a sector.
These flamethrowers on the Pioneers are just essential for Sidolio. In fact, he did replace the Pioneer he lost earlier because running them in is just so effective. Kimbo there calling in the incendiary off-map ability. Flame support from Royal Engineers. And I really like what Sidolio has been doing over the course of this game.
We are losing a sector.
Having the flamethrowers on the pioneers, having them push the Brits out of cover positions, letting the assault grenadiers and the Ostroupen pick off the models as they retreat. It has been a good playstyle. We're seeing that Kimbo has teched up to company support, and he's going to be bringing out the Cromwell.
Enemy is down to 200 points.
Cromwell is a very interesting choice, going to be able to help with these infantry engagements. And provide some kind of challenge to the Panzer IV. But for once, it's the infantry game where Kimbo is not the dominant force on the field. Sorry, but when the Cromwell backfires like that, it's absolute audio sex.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Amazing sound design in this game, really. But here's that Cromwell opening up into this game. Could get a big hit here against the Ostroupen. Instead, decided to try and go for the engineers. Takes a Faust from the Ostroupen, and 80 gun from Sidolio has been revealed. So not quite the opening that Cromwell wanted, I expect. Sidolio is going to go back for that triple cap. He knows that's the quickest way to finish Kimbo off. Get him in that pressure position where he starts making mistakes, start having to dive on the VPs because he simply can't do anything else. And Sidolio's strategy is perfect, really. Tier 4 has gone up.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
And, I expect, really, Sidolio's going to know that Kimbo has gone for Royal Engineers, so he'll know the AVRE is coming, and perhaps had gone tier 4 initially for the Panther, but seeing the Cromwell, probably knows he's got time now to go for something else, and that's going to be the Panzerwerfer. Panzerwerfer maybe even went for this initially to deal with the AT guns, who knows? But it's about to turn into a very, very interesting game. What is this from Kimbo? Very, very interesting that he decided to push there with the Cromwell. Of course, needs to be very careful. As far as I know, he hasn't mineswept the left of the VP yet. Sidolio has trapped his own Ostroupen outside the church. Not really sure what he's doing there. He needs to be careful. Here's the off-map artillery there. It was meant for the AT guns. Kimbo has moved, of course. And it's actually a very nice push, backed up by the flame mortar support from the Royal Engineers, which sets alight the garrison north of the centre. Oh, Sid, please, please move your Ostroupen. Where are those AT guns? Kimbo not ready. Sidolio sees a great chance. Can he get that last shot off? No, he can't. Kimbo somehow manages to get the arc of fire turned around and rescues the Cromwell. Now it is Kimbo with the bigger unit on the field. That being said, though, he has lost a lot of his army there. Not quite the engagement I think we expected to see. Pretty sure Sodolo thought he was going to get that. Tried to get the ground attack. He was there ready with the Faust. And no Faust, of course, because the shot barely missed.
The enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun.
Sodolo there, going to rescue that AT gun. Crucial that he has that in this fight. Kimbo's got to do some serious work to move around that. There's only one Ostrupen around, so there's no real chance of taking this down whilst the Cromwell is outmaneuvering the AT gun.
We have lost a pet
There is
gun.
just nothing to do with this Cromwell right now. And good Akimbo there. He's going to bring out a second Cromwell. I think he sees the advantage that he has with the Cromwell. Sodolo just about to come up to enough resources to bring out a Panther. And we'll see if he hits that button. I don't think he's even used the Panzerwerfer yet. And perhaps that's going to be saved for a VP game. There's the Panther in the build now. This is ballsy of Kimbo. There's a lot of pioneers on the field and a lot of potential for telemines to have been dropped. Oh! Maybe that was one there! Big shot from the Cromwell. I think it triggered a mine. Blew up the pioneers. Here's that Panzerwerfer. Actually 9 kills on the Panzerwerfer, so it did fire already before this. Kimbo does know about it. And Kimbo just immediately hears that sound, smells blood. And that is going to be a dead Panzerwerfer. There's the chase. Can we see a second Faust from Sodolo? He is bringing it out with the Ostrupen. Just as the Command Panther comes in, there's a second Cromwell to defend.
Enemy is firing on our HQ.
And it is all kicking off now.
Damn enemies trying to take a point from us.
Look at that, smoking with the damaged engine Cromwell. Sodolo now not confident to drive through the smoke because it's a line of sight blocker. And he manages to get the snare with the engineers, stopping that Panther from pushing the engine damaged Cromwell. Very, very good control from Kimbo, really. You see there, he's got the AT gun to bring up for support. Well, credit to Kimbo, he's making a go of it, but he does have a pretty long way to go. Sodolo just needs to jump on these VPs, and there'll probably only be a few minutes of VP play left. Kimbo, of course, is going to have to be back in the base repairing his Cromwells, which gives Sodolo a little bit of time to capture and set up, which we're seeing now. Actually, this is a good position for the MG34.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Sodolo struggled a little bit here. I think he just brought on another squad of Ostrupen just to help with the capping side of things. Again, I think he was starting to see Sodolo just not as confident as he was before throwing those tanks in. Thanks to the support with the AT gun there by Kimbo, Cromwell's able to deal with all of the defensive support setup on the right VP. much uncontested.
6 pounder
Sidolio
anti-tank
just
gun
bringing out
finished.
the Stuke 3.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Not sure what Sidolio was aiming to achieve there, hopping out the building and getting back in. That's going to be a disaster as the engineers with flamethrowers come in. That being said, cavalry has arrived. Panther, Stuke 3, one more shot needed. There goes one Cromwell. Sidolio should be able to retreat quite comfortably from that. And believe me, this game has legs. Nice aggression from Sidolio. Every shot counts, every shot is going to contribute towards veterancy. And of course one of the key things it's doing is showing the locations of these AT weapons. It allows the infantry to push in, hopefully grab a snare, and then we'll see if Sidolio can pull off some kind of vehicle play. It's a very bad place to park a Cromwell. It's one shot from a Panther and it's going to be lit up like November 5th. I've actually really enjoyed this game so far, I have to say. It's been really nice to see just a preset strategy. It's been executed well by Sidolio. It's been good to see how Kimbo's dealt with it. And it's good to see that we're still 32 minutes into the game. That is a bad retreat. Jesus. Why not run this way? He's like, Relic, why Relic? Did you program me to run that way? Grenade there from the assault grenadiers. This is a very telling stage of the game. Kimbo, of course, is down on the VPs, and you can see that he's feeling it because he is having to play a lot of units on one side of the map at any time. He's not being able to spread out as much as we saw him in the early game. But he's about to potentially take a triple cap.
We are losing a sector.
One thing I have to say is a really good thing to watch about Kimbo is that he's just very good with his formations and positioning. So he gets a good composition together. Cromwell backed up by 2 AT guns. Baits with the Cromwell. You know, gets the AT guns to draw in shots after that. And it's played very well. A player to watch. Sidolio is going to be replacing that earlier lost Panzerwerfer. Oh my... What? What just happened there?
Half track has arrived.
Wow. Flame damage. I think the apocalypse just came to that church. If you've got low health models, you don't want to be anywhere near flamethrowers, and I think actually that's a classic example of how you always need to be watching the health of your squads, not just the amount of models it has. But very interesting here, Kimbo is getting a really good control of the VPs. You see him using the trenches. He's just brought the AVRE on the field, you can see that there on the right of the screen. his control in general has been very good. Sidolio has actually managed to drain VPs right now because 2 are decapped. It's slow. Beautiful Panzerwerfer shot. Not quite enough to get the decrease. Oh, I like this. I really like this from Sidolio. He flanked from the southwest. One of the AT guns is going to go down. You see the Panther already springing into action. Sorry. That's what I wanted to do.
Enemy forces are
Check out
securing
this
our
beast.
territory.
Beautiful vehicle.
Enemy is down to 75 points.
Oh, you want to be so careful when that AVRE is recharging. You really don't want to be stuck in a building when that thing shoots. Bit of a slower stage of the game. Kimbo just trying to get squad wipes with the AVRE. Panzer IV's on the field now, so there's an interesting composition from Sidolio here. He can utilize the speed of the Panzer IV and the rotating turret to maybe get around the back of the AVRE. Still got to deal with the Cromwell, and of course he can go for the Churchill with the Panther and the Stug. Better on the front penetration. But with all this infantry around, it's not going to make it easy. I'm sure that the Cromwell's going to have a great time there, to be honest. Actually not targeting the Panzerwerfer. Doesn't have enough time to turn the turret now, but actually there was a missed shot there. Sidolio very, very lucky that that turret reloaded in time. But that was a weird play by Kimbo. Bad play, and not what you want to be doing with 60 VPs. Oh, Sid. Panzerwerfer shot. It's nice. There's the AVRE. And we're going to see an artillery strike dropped in. One of the AT guns has been decrewed. We may actually see this artillery strike hit. We may see it. I actually think that the railway artillery is a fairly small circle of range where the shots can land. It's not like some of the other abilities where they land anywhere. So it can be relatively safe to stay inside the building. Of course, he does lose an AT gun in that engagement. He is starting to mine, perhaps sensing that a flank is on the cards. Sidolio, of course, I think is preparing for that, but Sidolio needs to stop giving Kimbo too much time to play with. Let's have a look what Sidolio is planning at the moment. Panzer on the right hand side, of course, likely to get snared at some point by some mines that Kimbo's laid.
This is a bloody minefield!
The enemy have destroyed a forward position.
Handsworth has actually been an excellent choice there. Really. Now this is where Sid needs to be careful, because there are mines, and actually plenty of mines, laying down in the centre. There's only a matter of time before those AT guns could come around and get sight on it. Sidolio actually has such a big advantage here, but he's just not really able to make use of it. Panzer 4 there does get snared by one of the mines on the right, and Kimbo sets up, tries to set up to get a shot off.
What's the job? Hold the right flank!
And this has got to be the finishing blow, surely. Sidolio about to capture VPs on the left and right of the map. He's got the more mobile army. He's got the more mobile vehicles even. And he's got that Panzerwerfer to keep negating any capturing that's going on in the centre. This is beautiful as well. Flamethrower Pioneers dealing with these AT guns from a pretty safe territory as well. Going to force the AVRE to move around. Kimbo is going to take the shot. No movement from Sidolio. Kimbo's actually decided to go for the Firefly. Not a bad decision. Able to tank with the AVRE, use the Firefly to pick off whilst the AVRE does the business. I think we just saw a squad wipe there. Great play from Sid, actually going in with the Panther, making the AT guns turn. They weren't able to then maneuver away from the Panzerwerfer barrage. So beautiful technique from Sidolio. Still well handled by Kimbo. This is where things get dangerous. Firefly, insane range. Going to be getting spotting from the British infantry.
Losing a sector.
Actually, Sidolio's had to go for Panzerschrecks. I actually really like this, going Panzerschrecks here. Should be able to run around the AVRE and get shots off still. Be very good at pushing the Firefly. I'm not sure that the Panzer Grenadiers have been so effective against the Tommies. Oh! Got to be very careful though, if you're going to make that investment. Definitely want to make sure that the Assault Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers, sorry, don't die. And Kimbo here may actually, if he's not careful, destroy the building's own units here.
An officer is awaiting orders.
I await your orders, Commandant.
Bit late to the battle, mate. Show's almost finished. Could have done with an officer at the start.
Standing by.
You can see that Sidolo is just scared of these AT guns. He keeps moving back every time the Tommies push, and I think Kimbo's playing smart. He'll detect that and know that he can just run Tommies up to tanks. And Sidolo is just going to hit the retreat button, which is not a good thing, really. Kimbo there, didn't quite scout enough.
We have 300 points remaining. The enemy is taking our territory.
Oh, Sid, move! AVRE misses a shot there. Panzerwerfer comes in, and it looks like Sid is about to make that big push. Panzer IV goes down immediately.
The enemy has destroyed a Panzer.
I think Sid's just forced to push here. This could be catastrophic, really. He's got the Stug from the east side, well, from the center, firing over. Main gun destroyed on the Panther. The Firefly goes down. And all that's left now is to deal with this AVRE.
Is attempting to steal our
Stug is actually very, very good against this, but it's the Panzer Shreks from the Panzer Grenadiers that finish it off. And it looked like a shaky start to that push, but I think Sidolo has just found himself victory in that. Kimbo just gonna call on another AVRE. And Sidolo just has to make use of this time. He's brought a Morse Trooper, and I assume this is going to be for capping on the right hand side, but he has got to utilize this time to get those last 30 VPs down. Oh, Kimbo just managed to escape the building, but was nailed down by that last shot from the Panzerwerfer. VP has been capped, the right side VP is going to be capped, and with only 2 squads on the field, I don't think that Kimbo's going to be able to make it from here.
We're losing a capture point.
That is going to be a GG to Sidolo. Great start to this game. Lost it a little bit in the middle, but certainly delivered. With a really good late game combination, really good composition. Kimbo still trying, Sidolo dying, Kimbo now frying.
A new engineer section is waiting for orders. We only have 10 points left.
I don't think there's any chance now for Kimbo to come back from this, even if he caps this VP. GDAVRE was pushing models out of the line there, and there we go, Kimbo, who loses out there, hits the surrender, and it's going to be Sidolo, and first time and new time king.